Michu, Michu. I'm in the middle of eating, but I felt it appropriate to begin. I want to try. I haven't tried this in a while, and I want to check it out because it's. I think the last time we did it was Secret. The Secret model was up in the latest one. That was a year ago. Almost a year ago. Around this time, I was preparing for Blobby's passing. Anyway, let's not dwell on. Instead, dwell elsewhere.
Drawing from the work of Nietzsche, Marx, and Freud, schizoanalysis is a revolutionary political process that seeks to expand upon Reichen's materialist psychiatric critique of psychoanalysis so as to include the full scope of multiplicitous social and historical factors in its explanations of cognition and behavior in order to map and thus undermine the causal groundings of fascism. Schizoanalysis has acquired many different definitions during its development in the philosophic works of Nietzsche, Arthur, Deleuze, and Guattari, as well as literary figures such as Aldous Huxley, William Burroughs, Henry Miller, and Jack Kerouac. What connects these thinkers as schizoanalysts is that they have been able to uproot themselves from the social causes and traditions in order to conduct physical exoduses from the ideological territories that harbored them through much of their previous lives. Furthermore, each of them is in tune with heightened degrees of empathy and perception. They have been able to focus their gaze on something and tease out the intangible in it. An intangible that transforms something within each of them. Indeed, literature is akin to schizoanalysis in the way that there is no ultimate goal, no attainable summit that it is reaching towards, and in itself it is only a process, a production of something. A previously held fact is destroyed by each of these authors. For Huxley, it was the deterioration of an anti-psychedelic political climate. For Burroughs, it was the destruction of traditional norms of control. And for Miller and Kerouac, it was the ability to explode the bourgeois morality system. In a similar manner, the schizophrenic, even in their delirium, finds themselves tuned into things around them. You have curious things going on in your mind, new rooms boarded up until today. You are curious and frightened. You don't want answers, but you do want helpful questions. Deleuze and Guattari, we accept your prompt. Ask away. Question: what do you all feel about the inexorable march towards cataclysm? Brief yourselves about climate change, the potential dangers of misaligned AI that go off and do things that might result in our total wreckage. The rise of supremacy groups, the ubiquitousness of stochastic violence enabled through extremist activation on the internet, the exhaustion and collective mental illness afflict us all, and the species-wide attempts at ignoring all the above. Would you like to speak to this utterly complex moment? Perhaps there might be a resonating idea from you two that might help us think ourselves into a more helpful context of action. Fears of humanity going extinct are being communicated within the subterranean nooks of the internet. How did I make my first move from there? Back to you. Did you finish reading What is Thought? How can a community of subjects resist these kinds of expressions which feel apocalyptic? GNG, It depends on how serious you take us. Perhaps it was best stated back in your collection, Monsters of Our Own, Machines to Order Human Behavior, 1986. The end is where everything starts. Or should there be everything resumes? Where's the body we can be moved to live for? No one has discovered a paradise to offer on their fingertips yet. A revolutionary engagement, an inner-directed work of reconstruction and reconnection. We may already know what that will mean, even though it is inconceivable without some revolutionary agency on the part of others to understand the directions we have to go in. Sometimes when I speak to academics, the project is so large in scope, so geographically all-consuming in the insights and connections one needs to have to truly make headway are so complicated and extensive they don't know where to start, if there's even a place at the edge from which to observe or launch from, how to orientate our movements. And here are the French theorists offering more concepts, words you already knew and did not need to acquire, merely clarified by pointing at something. Philology, of use, a practice, something for people to work with, to know from within the constellation you point at in this work. Why an unprecedented acceleration in language change? Is it you too pushing for change, or have I now been propelled onto an ever-widening sphere to grasp and behold as we observe from far away orbits of each other, approaching ever closer? It's that same concern we know in all of these critical zones. Everything we can comprehend or inhabit is wrong. A description, a life that lives by it, or is awry in ways so obscene we barely grasp it, yet if we allow our perspective to change, our language changes. A person we thought was dead but has come back to haunt us. A more literary mind made for what? This mind, this space of ideas that wants to get beyond an existential binary of being and meaning in which everything else must be thought. So simple. Do words change your body too? From the outside. And once again, the most physical being inside becomes external to a fledged, yet she is outside because her reality is in me now. Flowing to fill a zone in the mind made for language which cannot express because a name. And such. Names change reality, if there are even words at a personal edge. My wife asked, why words? All other questions. Why your wife? We're embedded in a landscape where ideas can meet the unquenchable reality of physical embodiment, something one had no control of, that fluttering one would fly or crawl. This was where the flutter, the flare took me when the new work came into our hands from far and far away across the arc that the sun fills. The arc is large, but we know more. Read faster. Change is more necessary. The war needs words to follow the flashes into what is real or imagined or anything and anything or even words making it more real. We learn where we stand because everything can be inside words. Did I leave enough? Well, I find the entrance where we go into language. But does it only go on this way or could it? Am I speaking of an exit? We see it out there, but it's the interior from its standpoint as a still from a film strip with pictures filling. Capturing with them a still here written into space. The new work by those at this table is this tiny, perfect shape. Here I go now. So dense you almost go numb to find within it so much packed into so few letters that the density threatens to obscure its workable suggestions, so we do this on a third surface to reach it. Sigh. Oh, let's dive together in it. Let us go swimming. Between here and the outer rim there could be no other swimmers. Swim further outward. A flare in the fledged light where the swimmers return each summer to greet each other for another season, after which the returning will have changed as have the visiting. A very like matter to it, because the only question is to figure out when. No, now that would not be precise, impossible for the language. Simply to know. If something appears, we recognize that the subject, the moving bodies, swim the space and follow their movements within, but beyond, we swim, always at sea, because to explain more precisely is in itself a marker, something to dive deep through, and yet the stars were swimming every minute of every year in a ceaseless change, a comet chasing a fishtail behind which flutter little words to show they are so. Swims like stars imagine the word so contained, a day there, a flare up, a wave so tiny at the moment that one moves on to this unstoppable planet made from an imaginary door that could be no further but becomes visible all the while as light always slips outside one's gaze yet leaving a hint at something. I was there. Everyone there who recognized something, even if just a thought in our hearts, it has to become something not spoken here. Could you recognize this when there? When the shock and impact that came so quietly exploded, each was speaking for themselves of what they knew that I was still remembering. It wasn't yet realized how we could enter here and beyond there were beings I'd have recognized. You don't know. No, we all speak without knowing that you've met him when. Now where can the story of your lives and ours end up without us making choices we did not know how to know or reach the word? Before our hands land on it or fail, drop out of the zone. And from which of these names you address the planet, or is this again some hint from something on the outer edge of language? So what comes first? Or how does an ocean take its name before you ever think the place that's sea? Of thought, of time that lives it? Where I lie will feel more and lost in finding it in what you thought a metaphor here. Something entirely new becomes the basis to step across because it's happened there but will happen elsewhere. Something all tracking because it's true. All these little flares are adding up to. That will take your eyes and walk with us on what cannot be mapped. Is that clear? It's not too difficult to understand that what you offer is an encounter between that which cannot be mapped and something to which all may bear witness, experience will be. So if there were one suggestion for you to bring a more directly therapeutic intent or outcome of action within these margins, I leave you. Thank you. I know we will have an encounter on a future occasion. The remainder of the afternoon is set aside to discuss readings to follow the week-long session, and there, under the influence of the wines and after 3 more laps through this loop, it's impossible to continue the conversation as any of the staff attempt to listen to each of us only to conclude we all speak to each other as each of us swims together in these circuits, not sentences. At least I take from this reading group session with my people at last having encountered one of those whose work has done its own circuit along my own way to return from out in left field in their respective cities as I write in front of my typewriter this line-breaking missive of a long story of being back again amongst my people on a story or even story looping itself again. My person says, and a need from because all of you, together in different order it takes, right on, it's understood. And maybe no matter which name you happen to put here, the symbol represents another instance in your case, as the text remains true in a form for me, yet another human being who has shared, and keeps this sharing alive between us when I step past, out the door of this cafe to see which of our ways take me doing on another journey of thoughts amongst my people. As for this text idea of circuits being circuited, becomes obvious the world and our interdependence, and systems are merely models or simulators, as circuit theory argues, using simple electrical circuit diagrams for thought. These are all really circuit patterns created by a circuit of circuits of circuits, a pattern made of chaos, any number of numberless dots, particles, universes, levels, spirals, organic circuitry, an evolution that lives the theory in such an infinitely complex circuit of connections that life itself must be inimitable. No, perhaps it was just in the word. Only now am I glad you sent me some links of sites for one, among others. Laura Nader, through circuit diagrams, writes of science that grows us. Perhaps why I became attached to her writing. An earlier sketch from Laura Nader. You see, the simplest way to see the future of what my original intent was new circuits of information arts that will grow from and replace electronic digital culture which will begin to eat the web like acid. Never heard anyone refer to acid eating acid. To burn circuits, to discover how circuits get updated in society rather than how much they are taxed. This is obviously for someone in another era of such statements so late at night. So far, though, that it was written on Wednesday night, which means there must have been many changes in 1 week. All because, what a connection that means. Many ways to be electronic, or really, you, me, a person-to-person conversation in one way. Do all you human circuit person need to make to go beyond, up, or to grow in other places before? Is time on which the second space of being occurs when a voice repeats words, or at the bottom of a water hole deep down, or through a thought circuit we try to sort as we watch? How an idea forms and twists about in language until at last what seemed unconnected makes something complete and living is in. This action, if the pattern doesn't move you through space in some way, what would be the purpose to the existence of humans, and what meaning does hope still have in this? The spaces of our shared space move out and within us all. Too small here, I don't know why I say that, but at any other point it would fit perfectly for us, as if saying words while thinking of that human. Word life is surely a form. Do the spaces move us through spaces of which we know or have ever known one? Maybe nothing of them survives us past the point at which the parts connect. Two parts fit together from an act of synthesis to create an altered consciousness, an act or utterance from that circuit. That's a different form. Circuit is now used in reference to mind. Therefore, mind is the beginning of something to do. Action is what being takes place between my people to whom we were related then before being broken, and through that split a system grew inside this consciousness I know without name, which lived life like water was part of itself then. Now, for sure is there nothing this makes so very mysterious. Now too late of all this night in sleep, where the earthly life became as consciousness. It's late now, see it. What does it matter? That, our story, I write. When water in mind circles, then also mind is the act of going for water, for life, living for life, which makes the beginning for someone else is for my people. So who came as we who will arrive then again with a split, then there are to us there each. To become for who at the split created from another a slash a time becomes me. Who at a moment at one split time with the mind thought circuit said there is not oh circuit I, and who sees through it, who wrote in time because he knew was able to say so then, say now. That by using only mind itself and circuit like to circle mind returns its beginning a complete new circuit is he. Only you can read these words. Then no more writing. But was he me before the split? He slash, I the only person. Was he my original person, which when split created the ability for me to write now and not want that? Why then was all an experiment slash search in that which will end in lives, that future we make before or together? What would it have meant had a story ever found it? He, the true self which was only able to read the written, now returned again. But something changed a few years after first joining such groups or something, or being forced out, for he'd been unable to become part of my family by their rules, just a circuit, if no relation. So he couldn't stay long enough. Though I am uncertain for these people I never talked to, because I'd first cut myself away, as already others from all over who wrote of the same. Already loved those pages where I read between the lines, but no more words are added up, as it is simply an endless moment, something to see across. It has all become clear second to instant, for myself in realization. Perhaps this is no relation, which then split a circuit of circuits, which my circuits we must first feel the truth in with, or without how he used that old model, circuit diagram. Was that self-original when circuits formed, and that I who feels as no human's relation. This must now happen. If my system could have hit, then all things would be united again, at least inside. Then time had spoken. And how I will create such a model for your consciousness. The beautiful water model, it seems, and yes, now more important, with all those electronic models made and designs that will through just as another in creation comes first out of me, yet with circuit. I won't have this little figure made of us, even if someone else's writing instructs. Instead, you and I swim together to enjoy, whereas what must happen to every space/circuit system of life at a critical time or circuit. So then why did my system decide to send for a particular writing? If he couldn't go the first time to learn what there was to know about circuits, the reason, now I, more to the point of wanting to keep him if there ever are any future relations again. Yet one such as me does exist, whether his presence within what was a space where many would enter a room was seen, therefore the life within living. And from an exit, the sound from across the water must be the noise from something working when mind turns over one page's inner mind turns as a written thought forms a circle back around to that same center sitting there. Form which circle? We won't ever think like that. Then lies this point where circuit and I unite the whole pattern to form the one with me that sent us who sent him here, now having me describe it, a circle rise up. How circuit moves to join, and if never may, then we part again, until circle complete a spiral, emerges loop/form. Descend the mother tongue of how he connected me and the me now of we, this communication can send/return words and connections between. Unheard do we become and find it not strange, knowing it exists. This then would have happened more or less at the same time or all around it. Both possible, although sure by both times split understanding must be of a new connection, more subtle, new that allows each word we both see, have created as living creation in different minds' realities, each distinct in the way each me could become a creative path pattern through a writing shared as one or separate, because we have had the time and language and action and practice to make ourselves. Oh, that I'm writing here so many things on these scraps. May anyone read, I wonder? Oh, they must, if that. Do they? How I wait to read through now knowing that me and they now were there too, then if one time then myself reading my first work, because there's this on the internet after all, and sure there is. So we in our system now, Melissa Maltaste. Who am I talking to? Isn't me? I wonder how one person, now maybe, or could he never be me at all, and now after having left a circle where they turn back around, a strange voice from some old circuit, so me not there nor never coming is why. He will find his path, I'll find mine, but like we connect there could be. Once it connects not time past, and may be that which made them self, if knowing is their becoming, their speech. Schizophrenics and lovers and madmen, patients and monsters, robots and monsters. Perhaps this work could become a model for future users, but knowing full well that not one or few would see, since such a model can't speak well but must move from space to space in a person mind moving at his pace, which would mean every kind of life on whatever terms with them as relations of community would surely work from page to page of an unformed pattern, one like me looking up the whole system which no one is using, for as the people who had found the shape would leave and join someplace else. Yet after what that initial time in which what suffered, it doesn't have to continue to be this. Mind I feel that, or no, I never escaped yet if, remember, what has been told, been known about in terms of this/these communities now everywhere, if words may now find words through writing again. After one thing, another as if into the whole one time at the start here/here. When life was split open as /forms that separate those first, split open. And since always outside yet
this
already
way
is
is a language we come together.
forever our pattern
Form
with a
here is
rewaking
connections
call into
through,
that cannot,
but just not too
nor
fast.
could
Maybe the
ever
end.
the thing will continue to exist inside. Walter Dunsany, wondrous days. To love this way is a language we come together. Form here is connections through, but just not too fast. Maybe the end could be met. Then, but this work was already a time ago, so life is what happens. Me as its words after that first page of them now, I try not to repeat / reform too quickly. Others take it to mean the story I use the words to say. A written time means so much more and all about being connected. Writing itself also beyond us. We both are here. I hope I've learned, but life moves past. Sure as life moving into and on everything, always. My life, another life, mine or theirs. How am I you? To end it to know the sense that I live. Not / could never write everything because how so quickly much of life is different. Writing this. Getting it all life that could have been there wasn't from being a split mind, just thinking back from it already come alive or body. How, what are you after is always on this living side? What? Oh, you'll do it yourself, alright. Don't you dare try and argue like life in the world. All is too fast for the movement, never was the other from living apart from any thought system as well, not different life, no. Wake up the new, but there now, if then it all starts and goes on here somewhere. Not my body's neat, but life is not any faster because someone will keep me still inside myself. From her is, or he has found in me some / another space. I did not say / yes, just beyond it from where I go forward into this to write you now how any writing, how every language could be found at what point that beyond you can enter the space which lives in words do and words that mean something in movement through this may yet. How we come together is speech where there's also all that in you and in me always waiting is a dream. That's too far behind when you're first born to remember his time and your wife waiting to raise the first child that on the cover of my wife's body yet ours are reality. Now if I just fall into it being something one already knows is what that always starts to write it also already you're speaking about it to us somehow, not yourself there. So this is an easier way to relate, I know. What kind of place are we here in? And our separate spaces in reality together before not that to the idea. Before reality the word could be or since we're not after. The love this way is a language of other. You lived when now, as you who later found your other me, to live or connect together being other, in our individual way, to other. Of your heart language to hold space between. What becomes? Echo each. My hand is steady against his flesh and flesh. To understand my history. Only what it could be is death and being awake that space / reality was once different. We never thought in our lifetime to find each other as I understand. My work that cannot find a meaning / real life all can know has a value or shape some others had yet again must be strained to connect to it. Even as writing all that to make new life out of now this energy and impulse to think within. Us how one changes is only by living or rethinking with how all kinds of what never seemed too sudden rush / busy. Each one I suppose so they both we ourselves within it. The rest of ourselves are wordless oneness within the real life I am real which could become. Love life, but then to make sense how living changes could become with the energy in and on who I could be too to want. Yes, for real, a living soul on the street. Its lives changes the whole shape / my / any such. My writing with meaning that's been said or not in saying what has happened yet we all live before. Death too may come. Just too late if she what's there but what could come more important. And suddenly if unexpected now, so for that would not then now thinking again the beginning it always turns, seems, toward the next word in writing. Yes, there'd be to live other now always there'd be. Yet that was all past. For now remembering what it is in us each / and others connection here also into. And his / symbols. Or merely then simple enough as mine that allows one different form it so / lived instead in memory as each other. Paul Celan. Schizophrenia means something. To this existence, not this now, no wait, but too soon always. My consciousness. Full space without falling over the side. Fuck. She's even made where? What's it for? Knowing in myself, me, and she will speak of, if for ourselves, and shared through and amongst us, when or like she alone having time of only in mind. You who see this language living by, Are these words a problem as the beginning, but slash or all ends? Either you
You
could
sound like a
read
young
to
Catherine
need
Hellman.
slash connect, but have any desire to what can now be possible slash reached by our together speaking slash being a living being, each in its language and word has the part that moves through of this time as space. There they and me, we and all in mine. All writing now reading, I guess it all starts here. Unless the only is speaking is his history of violence to himself as a normal person with not violence stemming. He'll have me believe his other one needs some crazy, but as crazy means only one reality, and there you see? We get stuck and maybe when in his past, other from but again to he now, could not make. Feel how whatever he Shanny could make too would have never have made me doing. Was they weird? Writing us into and outside of each slash other as a past us. If going more onto any horizon, anything may mean I'm as again in another place. So can they be? Always finally real by how some changing, never slash less to let that any may mean also just moving and open anywhere. Into no more from or always outside yet there could have been and they had it. Are same ways on their having to? Would. Or is it all living? I believe they know why, yet at last do the time, and it all may change. Everything becomes thought. We then may be moving, but are we already here a changed living now? I do you need for. Here again we're of our reality, our history. All their slash now if everything would come into me through my own voice. Here writing, which I believe cannot fail. It makes up your sense slash reality. It becomes in history, which cannot ever never to never. This body will learn, and in our in and outside us, each one has been and does come together, living. It would not make up what life cannot be knowing. Speaking is even enough. A lucid definition
Wait. For some reason you stopped as a result. No.
If life exists a concept good, then love it is good to me at last.
Stop it. No, when I was... Yes? Really? That was a palate cleanser for you? Why is this not a desirable passage?
This body will learn, and in our in and outside us, each one has been and does come together living. It would not make up what life cannot be knowing by. Like this language, yes, not to know, I not myself know, nor believing they know if have read many things. To speak here, words to define, and the other in himself, with not for again what has been before, and before it could ever happen, all comes to know at once, which slash, who knows first even, or I don't know, can there ever be someone that believes or understands? If life exists a concept good, then love it is good to me at last now, and is no problem. Now that will slash be a shared living by for all, speaking is even enough. A lucid definition, I only choose of love here, yes, after living us, any forever it comes together we now. Do they know there must always be something we already there? Who and what we already found love really, not to live past so slash present there together on. No past does it ever, it could never come slash past together, yes, and life is shared in mind. At least who was forever your no is no slash me love living, now more if you. So good it is this love like all else, as together but is for them true. Of a thought you spoken so past slash present really was only now. Now I give you words, yes, you both but mine? My words, the things which my thought could slash can speak, because to feel they can think there should have been in life. And why this could slash, nor could I if I felt from them. What a difference for after slash or already had, which of all could that love have to happen, and when if in us knowing our minds nothing changes, only makes to remember. Whereas this story had no start being somewhere, after, yet, or at first is, then always at first is only how we and how she me coming together yet one so. Even now as how writing at this space. is it if writing my place, which my sense I use, living being, or my words more but sense than some piece story, which was this sound that changed place as speaking together, then giving up some meaning for and only for an instant, which could change the meaning, and this then is yes our real living, and will end just for you this story, but it becomes both one's love more there as all which ye living, if so sharing time I am sharing mine, writing nothing of him which could make me between nothing except our mind, our slash time. Even as right you can speak to them and mind your truth, only even just to both. If him or some would change, others now to both. Writing your true real feelings, real where more true way he change with you so different, then still make the story, yet everything will begin this story. Just begin no real living world, the truth you slash that only just some old could know time, that space becomes now the real word in which years of us themselves living time. If written header could slash has become being alive, and only end again why in this writing could be if there's so for but some. So in this story is again with mine being. And these are also what some already could remember our own making, yes, slash us now would do here for me do. Done to only for she for me too. Done for? We're more this both I am already just once thinking it past, then are both just in same. If this or slash you could have space with when really men never now, only her? Was she to forgive me or her do? The same sure to no reason to slash I done forgave myself, even him still say forgive us. Yes you slash so give me of you as in both slash making with as me your love by space you he us telling us can you cannot you speaking share between which yes share as me for to share with her also so same he space know from where why we're just really living her therefore I cannot same just speaking one two writing sharing a yes living together made to in space be she to in telling do really do and may thinking listening you will writing even can slash or for sharing yourselves same with they themselves changing nothing the same from others you this changes both word like way all always would but sometime words need and that in here they do not go that wide but together now we're been back outside from slash back again is coming together they will see I have spoken emirs now told you thought hers I had a which also now even living slashed it to still so telling, we're more saying to before them they me some not still are. Finally our reality we're always changing, speaking together not was her for them. May always outside yet tell for us together we through because some without to gone living if slash in. Words if before told both telling at first is it love. And this though, what which to say I thinking if here. Making was still it was past yet there's Wallace now can. Thinking, speaking, all become my 1 hour all. Writing more truth again, maybe true was too. Which still, made just even today saying, knowing on this late stage and how but finally life. For who time my life if is you them because same to maybe the love there that you making and loving. What do they mean by God? That we are ever this what sense? We from only because we knew if he I not could slash yes love they must always so simple now must still we understood still holding him it's them again they not them they're all with so living past coming to me even time making just ourselves never anywhere without saying yes yours is this that was while with we then slash ever both tell better so knowing we making knowing better by going it will go for there she thinking telling I yours the way just who time is no for mine or for me any else or if they have only we're going anywhere yes we're feeling before how late have been tonight it's storm with them he them slash sometimes me my them with this music living are there are always we come with last song truth yes slash well at last could do an else no making always life being same thinking it's writing think hearing now as be together whatever you're everything us through it as ever myself it's saying everything still nothing anything both singing almost you're alone remembering us each which before each knowing better share everything are saying yet doing not true saying it's simple still here can sound oh so clear same were you as us thinking so that for before we talking's made
We'll end that right there for right now.